under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the regular meeting for the Herington City Commission, September 2nd, order. Before we start, do we have any public comments on the public forum?
It's working, Rob.
It's loud. Can you hear me, Carl?
All right. As a reminder, we have 3 minutes. It's uninterrupted. No expectation for a continued conversation afterwards. I'm just going to ask that you give your name and your address for the city clerk. We have Miss Debbie Urbanek to discuss the sales tax.
Debbie Urbanek, 615 North D. I'm just here to share that I have been advocating for the 1 cent sales tax. I know that citizens just thrive on gossip and rumors, and I'm here to tell you that every single person that I've had a conversation with has been against it because it is their opinion in the past when we've had a street sales tax that the funds were not used specifically for the streets. I know that cannot be true. However, if that's the message in the community, someone needs to step up louder and wider to share, what this is all about. I understand you're doing community meetings and maybe you have 5 or 6 citizens. That's not going to get your vote to pass. So I'm just here to strongly encourage whoever needs to do more to get out there and share the message and stop the gossip and rumors about how the funds were used in the past. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to an approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion will pass 4-0. Move on to the consent agenda.
I motion we approve the minute as reported on the document.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Is there discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion will pass 4-0. Proclamations and announcements. I have received a letter from the VFW regarding their 9/11 National Patriots Day Walk. It is somewhere in my packet, but it is expressly inviting the rest of the commission, along with the rest of the community, to join the VFW at Father Padilla Park on Thursday, September 11th, beginning at 5 o'clock till 8 p.m., where they'll have some information and then proceed with their walk around Father Padilla Park. So I highly encourage participation if you are able to attend. Next one is we have another open meeting house on September 25th, beginning at 5 o'clock at the Herington Community Building, regarding the streets and CIP project, to just also discuss where that sales tax is going. So it has been expressed, and I would agree that we do need to find other ways to get this more promoted out. So,
Can we get the county sign or anything to put out, like we're having a meeting about it?
Sure.
We need to get that out there because people are not going to get there on Facebook or whatever. They need a sign so every meeting. If you want new streets or something, just come listen to what it is.
I mean, we have attached the flyer in the upcoming utility bills, so feel like that's going to get the word out a little bit. And we've got nothing to hide. The resolution and the question on the ballot is pretty clear. We're not legally allowed to spend the money on anything but what we've designated it for. So, I mean, I get the frustration with some of the last sales tax, but the way they were written was kind of in a more broad manner where it wasn't just for streets, and I'm not sure what happened with the 2010 sales tax or if that was more specific, but yeah, just encourage folks to come ask questions if they're concerned or don't exactly know what it's about. So hoping to drive some more people by sending that out in the utility bill, and we'll work on some signage as well.
Okay.
I think the county's got that electronic sign that we can ask to utilize and publish that meeting at least a week or so before.
Yeah, we need to get the word out, or it's not gonna do anything.
All right. At this point, we are going to open up the public hearing regarding the revenue neutral rate. Some steps that we're going to be reminded of. This meeting will stay open, and we'll take care of business during the meeting. Do we have anybody signed up for the revenue neutral rate? Do we have anybody signed up for the revenue neutral rate? No public comments. I'm going to offer the city the opportunity to present the resolution to the commission regarding the revenue neutral rate.
I don't have much to add. I mean, we've talked about this at length. We've had 4 budget workshops, and basically we feel to adequately fund the budget next year, we're going to have to exceed the RNR. We kind of knew all along we'd probably have to do that to some extent, and you know, we didn't land on 87 right away. To really fund all the things that we would have liked to do that weren't needs, but we would have liked to try to address next year, were kind of removed. And we dialed this back from originally over 100 mils of some of the first iterations of the budget down to 87 to an amount that, you know, we got somewhat of a consensus on at the previous budget workshops. And so we feel to adequately fund the budget this year that we're going to need to exceed, and we feel that 87 is enough to manage those basic operations for the next year, 2026. So I don't have much other than that. I'll open up any questions.
Question or action? I'll make a motion that we approve a resolution in the next sequential order exceeding a revenue neutral rate and publish or proceeding to 87 mils.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there further discussion on that motion? Ms. Lorenz, I'm going to ask that you have to call the roll on this one.
Aye.
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 Aye. The motion will pass 4-0. The city will exceed revenue neutral rate at 47. This time we will close the public hearing on the revenue neutral rate. At this point, I'm going to open up a public hearing for the budget for 2026. We will request public comments. This is regarding a budget for 87 mils. We have one that is signed up right now. Is Mr. Larry Mann. Please come up, give your name, your address, and your comment.
Larry Mann, 319 North E Street. I have sat in your seat and know it's hard to do a budget. But I think there's a way that we can still reduce the budget. I mentioned that we could take money out of the cemetery fund and transfer it in to pay for the people at the cemetery fund. And nothing had been done on that. Right now, looking at the cemetery fund, it's $155,000. And we're budgeting about $50,000 for the cemetery, which isn't enough. There's a lot more that should be done, and this fund should be used to do that. I am on the ballot to vote to be elected in January, and I will fight and continue to fight to not raise the mill levy unless we have to. And I do know that, you know, I've sat there. We've had to make decisions on cutting things that we didn't want to. And so we've got to look at everything. And I've sat in through every meeting that you guys have had, and I think you've done a good job. What I'm really disappointed is the citizens of Herington hasn't come and gave us any idea, or you guys, any ideas on anything that they would like to cut. But they don't want their mill levy raised. Just like Mr. Bonnie said about the sales tax. There's so many rumors out there that we got to start educating these people. The mill levy is going to go up anyway because of the increase in valuation of everyone's house. So people are going to see that and think the city is going to get that much more. But the city's not getting all of that. And just like anything else, we got to get out and start educating the citizens what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody that did not have the opportunity to sign up prior to the start of the public hearing, now is your opportunity to make further comment. I'll leave staff with the final word before any other questions.
Yeah, I agree with somewhat Mr. Mann stated, particularly the fact that I try to highlight every year, and I'll soapbox even though there's not much of a crowd tonight. We encourage folks to come and talk to us, and I try to have an open door policy for people to want to come and ask about the budget. But he brings up a valid point that even if we were not considering exceeding, that we were only capturing the RNR tonight, there was a lot of people in town that are still going to be seeing a tax increase. So it's your right to go to the county and petition the valuation of your home or your piece of property, and all citizens have the right to do that. So, and just pointing that out. So if you feel like your home is valued at too much, you can go petition to the county and say, hey, I don't believe my home's worth this much. It's an opportunity that everyone is afforded. There's no guarantees that they will lower it, but there's always a chance that they will. So encourage folks to do that. And I'm open to any unique solutions in the future to improve the budget. And I think that at some point we are going to have to talk about cuts, whether it's next year or in the next 3 years or whatever, to develop a longer term plan, because you're going to be looking at a mill levy increase every single year. You're going to be looking at exceeding the revenue neutral rate probably every single year until you dial back operations in some capacity. So, but I think this is a fair amount that we proposed. It took a lot of thought to get us to this point, and I think it's fair to the citizens, as fair as a tax increase can be. And like I said, I don't believe it's any frills. I believe it's going to fund the basic operations of this community. So that being said, I'd recommend approval of and certification of this budget tonight.
Questions for staff on the budget that's been presented at 87? We previously had conversations about some upgrades at the airport. I know it doesn't affect the mill levy because the money that's received at the airport has to be used at the airport. Are we still considering moving forward with the fire station and other improvements at the airport for 2026?
Yeah, I mean, Vinny and I have talked about it a little bit. He's got some preliminary bids. So again, we're just trying to wrap up this major project that we're undertaking, and then we'll look at some solutions for whether we want to apply for a grant or whether we want to just kind of pay for it outright. And I'm still targeting that we could have some sort of a decision made this year, or at least something to present for your consideration. So.
Any other questions? Have any action?
Are you on the 12th? No. Yeah, you can close the hearing.
Close the meeting.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions, no other comments? This time we'll close the public hearing on the 2026 budget. Move on to certification of the 2026 City of Herington budget, 87 mills. Discussion or action?
I make a motion, we consider the 2026 budget at 87 mills.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to consider 27 mills, just as presented,
87.
or 87, sorry, just as presented.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Ms. Lorenz, you're gonna have to call a roll on this one.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion will pass 4-0. That one will also have to all four sign tonight before you send it. Yeah, we'll need to get it signed before by all members of the commission. Okay. All right, department head reports. Public Works.
This will be for the month of August. I'm starting with the street department. We demoed 3 trailer houses at the trailer court. That went pretty well, went quicker than I anticipated. We repaired the sidewalk at Father P. Ended up repouring 13 feet of sidewalk. Started cleaning the town creeks and ditches with the brush cat. Trying to get it all cleaned up. Have been in contact with Alliance Township, and they have agreed to start grading the old lake road for us. We'll supply the rock, and they'll do all the grading and maintaining of it. They'll also open it up during major snowstorms.
Good deal.
Also reached out to KDOT to see if we could do something about the speed limit on Highway 77 since having Casey's opened up. They're going to do a traffic study within 9 months, as they're tied up with a bunch of them right now, but they will be coming down and doing a traffic study. They said having Casey's out there would be a pretty good persuasion to lower the speed limit out there. For the water department, we had 1 water leak at B in Park. We replaced 3 meter pits at the Herington Heights apartments. We have also ordered materials to install a fill station at the old lake for campers, and hopefully be starting on that soon. For work orders, we've had several work orders come in here recently. We'll be working to get them completed as soon as possible. That's all I got. Any questions?
You know about how much it costs the city to demo those trailers?
The trailers?
Yeah. Or how much time that you guys spent on it?
We were able to do 2 in 1 day, and I had it quoted at 1 per day, and I priced it at $1,600 a trailer. And that was paying for 2 employees and the equipment hours at the city rates.
And that's to be reimbursed by the
Correct.
owners of the trailer park?
Okay. We weren't responsible for the dumpsters or nothing like that, just the tear down.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank the city staff for after the storm getting the trees in their hand and taking care of. Just
Absolutely.
pass that on to them.
Will do.
Did we get those big ones down on Broadway?
We got everything out of that was in the roadways cleaned up that we pushed and stuff like that.
Any question?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry, Manny.
All right. Any other questions for Public Works? All right. Thank you. Police Department.
So for the month of August, we had 241 calls for service, 7 arrests, and 85 traffic stops. We're working through the hiring process still. We've got 1 officer that's probably going to be starting, and he's starting with the process with us right now. He's certified from another agency. And then we've got another that's not certified that we're getting to the point he may be getting a job offer as well. We've got a couple of decent candidates there, but hopefully we'll be full staff here shortly. Right now we're still technically down 1. Other than that, our big thing we're working on right now is, if you guys haven't seen, we have a missing person in town. So James Allen Cole, we've been doing a lot to try to track him down. There's been some interesting circumstances with that, but we've been flying drones and using tracking dogs from different areas and There's been a lot of effort put into it so far. We tracked about 6 miles into Morris County today with a dog on a scent, but we lost scent over there, so. That's all we have on that. He's been entered into a national database, and we've ATL'd it to all the surrounding agencies, and we're just seeing if we can, I just want to put that out there publicly so that people can be aware that that's going on here and be on the lookout for him. It's all over social media and stuff too. So, it'll have a picture of him and his truck, but we have the truck, so.
Well, good luck in that search.
Yeah, thanks.
Is it a situation where the silver alerts aren't applicable?
He's only 24 years old.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, there's nothing, there's nothing out of the ordinary with him as far as being, having any issues medically or age-wise or anything like that fall in that category. It's just kind of out of the norm for him. We've been looking for him for a couple days now.
Okay.
So he's not an at-risk adult or anything either, so.
Questions for Chief? Comments? All right. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Let's do Fire Department.
Good evening.
Evening.
Month of September, we ran 41 calls. I'm sorry, August. This is September. This is August report. 41 calls in August. 24 medicals, 1 structure fire, 1 vehicle fire, a grass fire, 1 fire alarm, 1 down power lines, 1 electrical. It was a meter that was overheated during the storm. 1 carbon monoxide alarm, 1 traffic accident with injuries, 1 standby, 3 investigations for illegal burns, and 5 burn permits issued. We held a water shuttle drill in August. We had 7 surrounding departments, 13 pieces of apparatus, and we figured about 27,000 gallons of water able to be on wheels out at the lake that day. So the furthest department was from Enterprise. They brought a pumper down. So with the other departments increasing water capability in the last 2 years, we've seen a huge influx of tankers. So we have a good haul water amount now for rural structure fires. So that was really nice to see. Drill went pretty well. Shelley finished part 2 of her fire investigator. So she is fire investigator 2 with the State Fire Marshal's Office. So now there's 2 of us that are fully certified to do investigations. McKenna and Matt Shepard both started their EMT. They'll finish up in December. So both full-timers are going to the EMT. It's a little ahead of Matt's career path, but it makes sense for 2 of them to go together. They could study together, travel, so we sent them at the same time. And the boat that was supposed to be gone for 2 days is still out of service, and they gave us a loaner. I don't know what he's doing. I won't use him again. So that's where I'm at.
So we had some large property damage due to some weather issues here recently within what would be expected to be the area around city limits. I had several that were concerned that sirens never went off. What was the situation?
There was no indication. So that would be up on Ella Avenue, which is actually White City's fire district. The Morris County Emergency Manager asked us to go out there because we were closest. There's about a quarter-mile debris path in a straight line coming from that property. Talked to the Weather Service, and they reported it was probably a microburst. They weren't picking up any rotation. There is a video going around of some high-level rotation, but they never confirmed that there was any touchdown or anything more than just some clouds swirling up at the higher level. So unless we have something confirmed, Weather Service, trained spotter confirming it, we won't sound the sirens.
Okay.
So
Any questions, comments?
I got an email today about 5th Street, like the loader blocking traffic out there at Castleberry's.
I would have to talk with Chad about if they're blocking traffic or anything in the road. I know we had an officer go out there last week when I was out there on some code stuff about the condition of the road, and I don't know the outcome of that.
Okay.
But nope, I could touch on that in code enforcement report, or we're working with them. We've been out there and working with the owners on the condition here in the last couple weeks. So
Okay. Thank
we're on them. We were out there again yesterday. So
Anything fire department related? All right, code enforcement, chief.
For the month of August with codes, we had 54 total inspections, 1 sign permit, 4 building, 5 electrical, 3 plumbing, 1 mechanical, 2 roofing, 3 demos, 6 grass violations, 19 cut orders issued, 2 violations were issued, and 2 of them were issued under the criminal code. So a trial is set for those 2. 1 environmental. There was a 3rd one that was a repeat, and we talked to him and gave him 2 days, and he cleaned up what was starting to get out of control after 1 just got out of court in 2 days. So I was actually pretty proud of that. 1 environmental violation, 2 utility inspections, 5 verbal contacts. All were resolved without issuing a notice. And we had 1 condemned property that we've been dealing with, suspecting they're still living there, doing things they shouldn't be, and it caught fire this weekend, so it is now a dangerous property, and they're no longer able to live there, for 54 total.
We get that building closed up yet?
They asked for a couple days, so I told them, we'll give you a few days to get it done. If not, then we'll come in and do it and bill you for it accordingly. So they asked for a couple days to kind of be able to get materials, get keys for the pickup truck, because the keys were in the fire, so they didn't have access to try and get a trailer and stuff. So I told them I'd give them kind of towards the end of the week to get a chance to get that done.
I guess I touched on it a little earlier. We have those 2 large trees on North Broadway. Have we made contact with them? Or
So
they
we
know
are
something?
this week. Thatcher called me this morning about it. Ken and I talked about it on Friday, or Thursday and Friday about them. I said, hey, let's go through the weekend. It's a long weekend. Give them a chance to kind of get things cleaned up. 3 of the trees that we were looking at had got cleaned up this weekend. Some off of D Street, and then we do know about the one on Broadway, and I think there's 1 other she has written down. So we'll go issue violations on those to get them removed. It is the property owner's responsibility to not only cut them down, but also to remove the debris. So we'll work with those property owners to get those cleaned up here. We're trying to give people a chance and be reasonable, especially when the weather hasn't been great. But yep, it'll be addressed the next couple days.
Okay. Any questions or comments for code enforcement?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Let's move on to consider an easement agreement regarding a raw water line reroute.
So this is kind of related to the expansion project for the raw water line. We've identified the property to the south there, the tracks, as a potential spot that would need rerouted. I mean, it's the older line, so while we're in there doing the work, we essentially want to bypass the line that, if you look in your agenda packet, is reflected on the back page, Exhibit C. So essentially that line runs south up the hill, and you can kind of see in the picture some of the erosion that's taken place from previous water leaks. So essentially we want to bypass that line and basically go over to the east and cut up and tie into the existing line, just so we're cutting out kind of a section that originally went up to the basin that we no longer use. So we've negotiated with the property owner. He's fine with it. He's just asked that we kind of remove the fencing and then overfill the existing basin there. And then eventually, when that work is concluded, we'll actually deed that entire section of property over to him. It's not actually easement. We own that section. So we'll have to do a formal deed process, and we've given ourselves, I think, until the end of 2027 to do that. But we're optimistic that with some of the excess dirt from the upcoming railroad project, that we can go ahead and have that filled in, hopefully within 6 months to a year, and be done with this. But yeah, it's just been something that we wanted to get done while we're in there doing the work, and it's a good time to just finish this off. So there will be a few material costs associated with it, which we'll talk about next, but you know, our crews have the time to do this, and the property owner has been extremely helpful to work with, so it's good for everyone involved. And hopefully we won't have a water leak in this area for a very long time. Cody's here if you have any questions on the project or what we're actually doing.
Any questions regarding the utility easement? We have any action?
That base has been a problem for years, so time to get rid of it.
Big problem is the line's about 12 to 14 foot deep right outside the basin, and our equipment can just barely reach that depth. And we've dug it so many times, the soil's been disturbed so many times, we can't safely dig it. We don't have the shoring capabilities. So if it goes to leaking again, we'll have to call in a contractor to come and make the repair.
Do we have to break the bottom out?
I don't know if we'll have to break the bottom out. We were going to try to pump it down a little bit in the basin to see what we can do. But yeah, the railroad with that expansion project, they did make contact with me and said they're going to have enough dirt to fill that whole thing in. And then we can level it off and turn it over.
Okay.
But we'll have to see about breaking a hole in the bottom to get the water out.
Back in the day when they used to train that, it used to train down like 7th Street. Is there a line that comes out of there? Or?
I thought the 7th, I'm not sure, I don't remember.
I remember my dad working up there and like I said, pumped it out.
I drained it when I worked there, but
Yeah.
I think we pumped it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was asking.
I don't know how to drain it. There's some maps down in the basement from the 20s that we can look at.
No, it needs to be done.
Yep.
It's turned into a safety concern, I mean, with us trying to fix it ourselves.
Regarding the easement agreement, I'll make a motion that we approve the easement agreement as presented and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion will pass 4-0. Now, regarding the next topic, discussion for the raw water line project in the amount of $32,546.40.
50 cents.
50 cents, sorry. I don't know what's up with me tonight.
10 cents short.
Yeah. Have we gone for other bids on those?
I can reach
materials?
out to some other suppliers, but that's the supplier we normally use for everything, for water meters to water pipe to. He usually gives us the best price in that pipe. I doubt you see a difference in the pricing going from any other supplier.
I think the biggest thing here is Core and Main has the pipe.
Yeah,
ready.
they'll have everything on hand in McPherson. It's close.
Any other questions, discussion?
I'm assuming this wasn't budgeted, so.
Yeah, Cody's got a little excess in the water production budget for something like this, so.
Also, they've been planning this for quite a while.
Yeah, it's something we've wanted to do. Since we've been having leaks up there, it's something we've been wanting to do. So there is money in the water distribution budget to cover it. And we do all the work in-house, so.
I make a motion, we consider the raw water line project for an amount of $32,546 to pay from the water protection and water distribution.
Does that need to be signed?
I don't think he has to sign it.
Okay.
No, this is just authorizing staff.
I'll second Rob's motion.
Motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion will pass 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to start with 30 minutes. So I'm going to make a motion that the city commission recess into executive session pursuant to the personnel matters of non-elected personnel exception KSA 75-4319B1 in order to discuss personnel matters to and include the following: the governing body with the option to call the city manager and the option to call the city attorney, with the open meeting to resume in the commission chambers at 7:05 p.m.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion will pass 4-0. We'll be in recess. Brad, can you join us downstairs? session pursuant to the personnel matters of non-elected personnel exception KSA 75-4319B1 in order to discuss personnel matters to include the following: the governing body, city manager, and the option to call the city attorney by phone.
I'll
The
second.
open meeting to
sorry.
resume in the commission chambers at 7:35 p.m.
I'll second.
Motion and a second for discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We'll be in recess. Motion and a second to amend the agenda to an additional discussion or action item. Is there discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion will carry 4-0. We'll move on to the discussion and action regarding the city manager's base pay salary for contracts. At this point, I am going to make a motion that the city manager's base pay immediately be amended and increased at 3%.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Is there discussion on that motion?
Is it based on the first pay period after this? When's your pay period?
We're kind of like right between ones, so it'll be like in effect with us getting paid not this Friday, but next Friday.
Is there any other discussion? Let's do a roll call vote.
Ready? Commissioner Naylor?
No.
Commissioner Scott? Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Mayor Pierce?
Aye. Motion will pass 3-1. At this point, move on to agenda item 17, city manager comment.
As Vinny said, we're writing violations for down trees this week. If we don't have a lot of luck in the next week, I'll consider sending some city crews in to clean up the worst of it, or at least get it out of the way of the street. Commerce Connections lunch last week was successful. Had a good turnout from business owners there. Was able to discuss the sales tax initiative a little bit with some of our local business owners. Plan on having another one of those this month. Not exactly sure of the date yet, but we will keep everyone posted.
I thought you had it the 26th.
That's the CIP workshop. We're talking about the commerce connections with the business owners. So I touched on this, but we did send the flyers out in the utility bills. So, and then we plan on having a discussion item at the next meeting with Brad, where he will outline the memo of kind of what staff can do versus what commissioners can do. We're making it a formal agenda item so we can just get it settled then and there. Got all the documentation turned in for the wastewater treatment facility loan application. Hope to hear back on that this year. Got the easement agreement signed today for the fill station at the lake, so hope to start working on that in the next month or so. We'll be working with the township and the county just for anything we need to do to tie into those two sections of road. And then we'll just be working on cleanup at the park before the 9/11 memorial.
Any questions on those items?
Since you referenced it, the trees on Broadway and D Street, whatever, they're talking about the down trees that haven't been taken care of.
Right.
Do we have an expedient means of code enforcement that will mitigate those issues prior to, like, 9/11, the ceremonies? I'm just saying, is there any quick means to do that? Maybe that was more of a Brad question, but
Like I said, if that major one is still there, early next week, we may at least go down there and chop it up and then expect the property owner to haul it off.
is that an empty house?
No, there's a renter there and there's
Okay.
an owner of the rental, so.
There's
Two down trees on North Broadway,
they're across the street. I
I'm
think.
talking, the main one I'm referring to is the one by the median,
Yeah.
so further south. We'll try to get something done before the memorial if we don't have any luck with the property owners, so.
Is the park cleaned up?
Sign your name and then sign.
Yeah,
Or
so
print
we
your name and then
cleaned
sign.
up the path, we're working on trimming trees, so.
Okay. Any other questions for, any other questions regarding those items that he presented?
Nope.
Okay. I'll let Cynthia go here later. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Stats?
Tree was my only issue, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Naylor, do you have any comments?
None tonight.
Commissioner Bell?
Just, we need to get the signage out and stuff for that
I don't have anything else other than what I promised everybody I would ask about. Fee schedule. We're looking at the end of November, beginning of December, because I asked if it could be done before the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get it here. My goal is October,
Okay.
to have it here, along with the trash amendment. So Brad and I are working on it, and we'll get it there.
I don't have any other comments.
Move we adjourn?
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? We will be adjourned. Thank you.